Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, guys. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson, ready to give you guys our latest review on our latest movie.
Yay! Hi, guys.
Yes, so tonight we will be reviewing...
Wait a minute. For a change of pace, of course, before Sarah introduced it, we have been doing quite a few, over 100 podcasts now, and we have yet to do one from a non-English speaking country.
That's not exactly true, Mike.
Have we
We've
done
did say a few fan-made
I ain't
films,
talking about real films.
and we did a web series not too long ago, last year, which is about the Aladdin.
Okay, I
that was done
forgot about
in
Aladdin.
India.
Okay, I'll check that. We rarely do anything from a non-English speaking source.
But Korea is a new one for us.
Well, South Korea in this case. There's South Korean zombie thriller drama we're going to review tonight. It's called Alive. It was done again 2020, last year.
Quite so.
It was written by Matt Naylor, who wrote a story called Alone. And he made a movie at the same time using the same script pretty much. This has just been rewritten for the Korean production company.
And according to this, I read this is the top of the global ranking for Alive. It's the first recording among Korean movies released on Netflix.
Actually, I was going to get onto that a bit later on about reception and release stuff, because this is really popular, not just in Korea.
So this movie was well received.
It was, yeah. I even think Rotten Tomatoes gave it a reasonably good going over and say it's really good.
Yeah, it says on the opening day when it was said release.
It made a lot of money on the opening day.
It brought in total of number of viewers. And took 62% of the box office.
Yeah. So
the first viewers of the
over the first
film.
several weeks, it was actually topping everything, and it's actually broken records, and it's actually made more so records because it's been popular in countries outside of Korea.
Yes.
Even in America. There you go.
Take that, Donald
Australia.
Trump. At the time, Donald Trump was being nasty to another Korean movie. I won't mention names, but I did think he was being unfair to other countries and their productions when I think about that.
I don't want to go into any political things here.
I'm sorry. It's just
No.
I didn't think he had the right to say nasty things about any film outside of his jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's the point. It's not a political platform here. It's a movie platform. Anyway. However, you don't like his attitude, fine. Let's move right along. It's not part of our discussion.
So there is another movie I might look at reviewing that's kind of inspired me to look into. I was inspired from another movie reviewer and, embrace the film that may get me to review that one next, hopefully, very soon.
What's that?
It's a zombie movie that deals with trains. I don't know. I can't remember the name at the moment, but I'll be sure to check it out eventually.
Anyway, I'll just go through the production sort of stuff. Produced by Eugene Lee, Sammy Kim, Saerom Kim. They could be related. I don't know. Directed by Cho Il-hyung. Screenplay by Cho Il-hyung and Matt Naylor.
Forgive us if we don't pronounce them correctly, as per usual.
I'm not Korean, okay? Based on Alone, which is written by Matt Naylor. So let's say at least 2 movies have been made out of that story. Anyway, box office, as Sarah was talking before, it's made US dollars, because obviously Korean and stuff all over the world, it is equated to US. 14.7 million it's made. That's so far. Yeah. That's not too bad. By anyone's standards, yes.
Yeah, and this was around the time when Alive was considered, it was around the time when during the COVID was happening, and it caused, and I guess that's probably what got the audience really boosting and interested.
The lockdowns and whatever and different things, and people getting sick and dying, so it did create interest.
Yeah.
And a lot of movies weren't being made during that
Yeah,
period.
as I said
Yeah,
before in
yeah.
the past, I may have not mentioned this, but in the past I kind of postponed any movies that dealt with zombie outbreaks or pandemics, and
Yeah,
I didn't wanted to wait until the right time
Yeah,
to
I
review
want to do
something
World War
before.
Z, Warm Bodies. Have we done Warm Bodies?
Yeah, we have.
Okay,
That was probably the one,
early one.
other zombie movie that
Yeah,
that
that was the last one, though.
didn't
They had a love interest in it.
yeah, but
So,
it did show a lovey-dovey
yeah,
scene.
but World War Z, that's a good movie, and other things. Yeah,
Yeah, so moving on, who stars in this?
you would
film?
ask me to say this. Okay, now please forgive me if I get the pronunciations wrong here.
Yeah, please, guys.
Yun plays Oh-jun Woo, who's the main lead male in this movie, and Park Shin-hye plays Kim Yubin, and she's a female lead. Oh, there are other people, but the movie really centers around these two individuals, so I
Yeah.
won't mention anybody else. So.
Yeah, on June more than anyone
Well,
else.
mainly June, because it starts around him, and Kim comes into his
Well,
world, and they join forces to escape the
the zombies.
the zombie apocalypse, if you will. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to take over telling the story? It's
Yeah,
I don't
sure,
think anything else
sure.
we can
I
talk
think-
about just a moment.
Yeah, sure. So it begins where June wakes up to an empty apartment. His mum and dad are out, and he starts playing video games. He's a gamer and everything, and he then hears on the news that there has been a bit of riots and some weird stuff going down.
Yeah, some crap. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where 10 minutes in, as I say in the past, if it's 10 minutes in that you see something creepy, then you're hooked.
You might have a good movie on the go. It's already got you drawn in.
Yeah, unlike other movies that just say, "Oh, I think."
Once
I'm
upon a time, there
guessworking,
was three
guessing
bears. They're going to come
what's
around
going
later.
on.
Yeah.
But so anyway, he then sees people running in the streets, being chased by other weird
Attacking
people.
each other.
And there was even a scene where between a mother and a daughter, and the mother sees her daughter, and they embrace, and then the daughter attacks her.
Well, yes, it was okay at the beginning, but I gather with this one, you can get bitten now or scratched or whatever, and it takes a few minutes for your body to react to the infection.
Yes.
So this girl was normal, and her mum was normal, and when they embraced, the daughter turned and started chewing on her neck. One hell of a love bite, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, so Junior was horrified by watching this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he then goes out into the hallway, and then another citizen comes into the room, and
Next door neighbour, wasn't it?
Yeah, next door neighbour who knew June and probably his family, and he's sort of a neighbour, and he wants to stay, but June keeps telling him to leave.
Go away, I don't want you here. I don't trust you.
Eventually, the boy asks if he could go to the bathroom, which he does, and June hears on the news that this epidemic or this zombie outbreak is the people who will conduct it will have red rings around their eyes and start
but
acting.
It takes a few minutes for it to work in,
acting-
and when the
acting
guy
rabbit.
comes out of the toilet, he starts to turn into a vampire, and he's actually
zombie.
not vampire, a zombie. Slip the tongue, and he even tries to leave the apartment.
Yeah.
But the zombie takes over, and he
Eventually June was able to push him out of the apartment, and a bigger zombie starts attacking his neighbor head on. And of course, and this is the first time I've ever seen, and this is the first time I've seen a zombie attack another zombie on zombie type action.
Hey, wonder if Rob Zombie knows anything about this.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so June then eventually gets a call from his parents, and they tell him that to stay in the apartment and try to survive.
Yes, stay alive or survive, something or other. Yeah.
And he
Hence the
doesn't
name
have,
of the
and
movie.
he has not enough food. He's got like say only a few,
Couple of bags
couple of rations.
yeah, yeah, potato chips and that sort of stuff, and a couple of candy bars and
Yeah,
and,
of course don't
bottles of water. Yeah, not a lot.
and don't look at getting water from the taps, because a few days later that water is stopped.
As did the electricity or the internet or something or other. Or,
The internet, whatever is
yeah.
gone, and as for the food, another zombie tries to break into the apartment and kind of knocks the fridge open, and whatever left of the food is now splattered and damaged. Yeah.
Would you eat this food off the floor?
Yeah.
You
so
betcha.
June realizes that he must use his dad's alcohol as
Well, he needs
fluids.
What a way to go. If you don't survive, you won't care anyway.
Yeah, so he's forced to drink the alcohol, as you know.
And what's scotch,
Yeah.
vodka, what have you got there? Yeah.
Yeah.
And beers.
And
yeah.
after a couple of days, he's starting to he tries to contact his parents again, and he finds out that they got attacked eventually.
Yeah, was he actually talking to him, or was there a message on his phone?
He got a message on the phone, and he has to dangle outside his window to get a good reception, and eventually he hears his parents and his sister getting
attacked
killed
by the zombies, not
Yes.
vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he feels like he's recording a vlog while he's doing this. He tells the world that and eventually in his last video he says that he plans on saying goodbye, goodbye.
He logs on and says hello, sits there for a second, and just says goodbye, and then just turns off.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to commit suicide.
Yeah, eventually
without actually saying the words.
Yeah, he doesn't say the words, but you know that
he hasn't eaten for several days.
Yeah, for
there's
15 or 20 days, he has not eaten anything.
Yeah.
No food.
No alcohol.
Yes, so eventually he takes
wasn't driving,
a piece of rope and tries to hang himself. But then he gets a light flashes through his eyes.
It's a laser pointer is coming through the window.
Yeah, and then he realizes that he's not alone.
There's somebody across the way.
Yeah, he eventually unties the rope around it, and eventually he didn't strangle himself either.
It would have been a short movie, hey.
Yeah, eventually he sees a girl across from in another motel room or
another apartment
room, and she's there, and she tries to tell him that you're not the only one here alive. So they eventually became friends in this, and she also survived. So she has water and stuff like that.
A bit of food there. So Stephenson may be doing that. They get a rope system between the two apartments.
They develop a sort of rope system.
Lucky he had what do you call those little buzzy things?
Yeah.
A little flying thing he had.
Yeah, he uses a drone.
A drone, yeah. Metal block.
Yeah. At first, she uses just a rope and a
tennis or baseball or something.
But that didn't work so well.
Didn't get far enough,
Yeah, and so he uses his drone and stuff to get the rope across.
And so they slide this little food bag across.
Yeah, he ends up eating it as fast as he can caper.
Yeah.
And she reminds him
Don't eat too fast.
Not to eat too fast.
No, it's bad for you. Indigestion.
Yeah, and there's a bit of water there so he can drink some water.
He passed water. No.
Yes, eventually, somehow the other little bit of rope that she tossed with the tennis ball gets noticed by a zombie that happens to be a fireman. And then we remember from early news flashes, they say that some of these zombies are able to kind of
remember their past lives, who they were and what they did and whatever. And he was a very fit guy. He was possibly a fireman or something like that. And he was rather fit, so he started climbing up the rope to try and get to her apartment.
Yeah. Eventually, June was able to use his drone and try to distract the zombie a bit. Unfortunately, that doesn't work.
He
But
broke it.
eventually, Kim, that's the name of the girl I should mention.
Pretty lady.
Yeah, Kim was able to take a little small axe and chop
Cut the zombie's hand off.
Zombie's hand off.
Oh.
Of course.
And he fell down, and could he die if he's dead?
Big
Well,
thing.
he was no longer
So
moving.
now
Yeah.
Kim and June, neither one of them have enough food for themselves. So June takes upon himself to scavenge for food next door to his apartment, which he should have done ages ago.
You would think.
Anyway, so he ends up going into his next door neighbor's apartment and takes a key from one of the dead zombies and unlocks it, and was able to find some food, Nutella, and some peanut butter.
Other groovy things.
And other groovy stuff.
Walkie-talkies?
And walkie-talkies.
Yes.
And a nice warm jacket to keep warm.
Yeah, because you think he would have had some clothes in his room.
He probably did. But I think...
it was a nice hunting jacket type thing.
Yeah,
a high neck thing. Yeah.
eventually gets chased down by a zombie, but he was able to get back into his room in time. And he gave some of his stash that he found to dear old Kim. And one of the walkie-talkies too.
Yes, they can have a
So
chat,
they can finally talk to one another without having to use hand gestures.
Yeah, exactly right. You are a loser, yeah, Miguel.
Yeah, because they can't really shout across the quad because...
Of course, all the zombies will hear them. Ha.
Yeah, caution.
Good hearing, these guys.
Yeah, they eventually start talking and they have a few things in common here and there. Eventually, they realize that they must try to escape or evacuate. So they eventually put together a plan where they figured that they should go to floor 8 or underneath.
The 8th floor, yeah.
The 8th floor underneath Joan's apartment.
June's.
Sorry, guys. I'm bad with Korean names. I'm really sorry.
June.
I'm not a professional.
Think of June and July and August. June.
Okay,
yeah, it's close enough.
So they begin to put their plans in order. They start getting their gear together, and Kim then what's the word that used
He abseils.
abseils down from her building. She doesn't go out through the door, which is kind of cool.
Yes, Try how to robo, so I go straight down. Yeah.
So
bad.
she runs across there, being chased by
And
zombies.
beating them up as she goes. She's a fit little girl.
And June was able to help her, and they eventually get to his apartment building with no problem. Or I'd be lying if I said no problem.
They had a few skirmishes along the way, but they
Yes.
survived. Yeah.
Eventually, they arrived.
They stayed alive.
And they came to the floor with the room on. They were
Roommate.
going, and
The
they
floor eight.
eventually find that there was an unknown man living there. And they also find out that his
Anyway, don't go to. They got there, and the
Yes.
zombies attacked them. They fold them up, and this guy saves them, invites them into his apartment.
Or
And they
so we think.
So we think.
And
he
as it
seems like a nice man.
and it turns out it's not his apartment. Maybe
No, it's his apartment.
no. It says in the that
You sure?
that he must if
They
the
borrowed
apartment was empty for some time. He may have been
Scavenging like that.
scavenging
Yeah,
like
and
them.
then it ended up there. Okay, sorry, my
Yes.
mistake. My mistake.
So he drugs the pair, and he puts Kim inside of another room with his dead
His zombie wife.
zombie wife.
And he said she hasn't eaten for days.
Oh man, that's ridiculous. What are you gonna do? Eventually, June gets wise and tries to help Kim get out, but we think the worst for the wear at one point.
Yeah, yes.
But eventually, Kim is able to get smart and trick the unknown man. I'm sorry, I don't have a name for this man.
No, it don't make it any more complicated.
Eventually, the zombie wife ends up, biting into her husband, and
they die in a cuddling embrace,
Yeah,
and Kim
and-
shoots both of them.
yeah, and Kim and June have little hope of, because the guy said to them that there's going to be a rescue helicopters on their way, And they don't know if this is true or not because this is from another survivor who may be lying.
Who, yeah, it could be delusional.
Exactly. Eventually, they then hear a. And the helicopters we see in the sky, and now they have to figure out if they can get to the top of the buildings if they can. So they then form the plan and start using those tear gas bombs and try to get to
I don't know
the
whether
top.
that was tear gas. Did he get from his neighbour that time he got into walking talks and stuff, did he?
Well, it was
The other guy.
the unknown man I mentioned.
He
had
had
them.
some, yes, okay.
Yes.
I was just wondering, I must have blinked or something. I missed when they got those.
Yeah, eventually they get to the top. They barricade the door with some ladders there, and
That didn't last long. Yeah.
and they look around for the helicopters, but we don't see them at first. And June and Kim start shouting, "We're alive! We're alive!" and everything.
Something like that. I'm not dead.
We're
That's
not
quite the same
dead.
thing.
Yeah, stuff like that, like from Monty Python's Holy Grail, if you watched it.
Bring out the dead. No.
Eventually, we think
That's
the
another thing we
worst
should
at one
do.
point.
Yeah.
The zombies break through and they start attacking our heroes. But then eventually we hear the helicopter noise again. And eventually we see the helicopter with its armed soldiers and they start shooting at the zombies.
And June and Kim are
Were
invited
rescued.
to go onto the helicopter.
Yes. Eventually they get on and we hear news that 50,000 or more than that
Or a lot.
are infected, but fortunately enough, the rescue teams have been using social media to find rescue the
people who are
the
survivors.
survivors.
Yeah.
And
And then you see a few pop-ups over the buildings there as you're doing.
hinting
yeah, in the movie, yeah.
that June kind of sent up a photo of himself and his address, hinting that he was still alive.
Yeah.
So he was. Thanks to social media, it kind of saved his life.
Social media isn't necessarily a bad thing,
Yeah, see.
especially when you got a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, see
That's a good name for a movie,
So
isn't
this
it?
is another sort of not just another zombie movie, but this is another social media related movie
It's
that
not a straight horror movie. It's
using
a thriller,
technology and stuff.
horror drama. So if you're trying to compare it to a slasher film, the action's totally different. It's more of a thriller drama with horror thrown into it.
Yeah, so this is another like we did Tragedy Girls and then Spree. This is another social media one that deals with social media to help is a key element to this movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not that I'm looking for a trend. I mean, social.
No, it just comes up nowadays. It's a technical thing that we use now. It's like mobile phones.
Yeah, and
you got Facebook. You
And
got
last
Tumblr,
year we had
whatever,
used social media to try to connect to one another, try to make sure we keep contact with one another as much as we can.
Well,
And it was a difficult time for all of us.
Well, my idea is I use a telephone. I don't use that sort of stuff because you know what? I went on Facebook some time ago to see if I can find some friends. Ribbit. None of my friends use Facebook. So I closed my account. That was it. Oh, well, never mind.
Well, at least I'm finding.
You've got more contacts than I've got, yeah, but I don't have anybody. I feel like a lonely old man.
Well, it's because I apart from people I've associated online, I also work with people in the
and they use
in
Facebook.
the present in public. So I'm able to connect with them as well as online.
But yeah, you got them online, and you use Facebook.
I do.
And you use Vimeo to upload stuff. You got Tumblr and other things. There's lots of good things out there you can use to communicate and get things out there.
So it's worth
Well,
using.
I haven't got anything.
So
I feel left
this
out.
was an awesome
Anyway.
movie, and I think it's great. And to be honest with you guys, I think it's has an interesting impact.
Well, I must
Although I
have,
did think whenever I look at the what happened last year, I keep thinking, why the hell did everyone was worried about toilet paper instead of
no, that was
food
here.
and
We
stuff?
do not know about the other countries. Sarah's alluding to something happened in our local shops here.
Yeah, we had to worry about toilet paper instead of food.
No, because some people panic. Say, oh, what happens if we run out of toilet? The shops run out of toilet paper. So some people started to stock up on toilet paper.
So food.
Now, obviously, then if there's a run on shops of toilet paper and it gets on the news and say there's a run on toilet paper, then everybody starts to queue up to buy toilet paper, which means their actions actually create the shortage. So everyone's panic buying, and they just can't keep it. And people get 6 months' supply of toilet paper, and
Yeah.
they're making paper
And-
mache dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah.
Hello.
And what if you don't necessarily need that much toilet paper?
Unless you get diarrhea really, really badly, you're not going to go real quickly, are you? I even bought online at some really ridiculous absorbent price because they could get that price. And I thought, hey, am I being ridiculous or paranoid? But I said, well, the other people are buying it if there's a shops that haven't got in it because of these knuckleheads.
Yeah.
I need some.
So
Yeah.
Alive is not just another zombie movie, but it's mostly about trying to get the stuff you need to
Yeah.
survive,
See,
like food and water and stuff like that.
See, yeah.
Not-
So we had toilet paper, and I noticed things like rice, pasta, and flour disappeared off the shelves really quickly.
yeah, that's
But everything else was there.
so
And you
Alive
didn't run,
is,
and people were buying lots of beer and stuff, just in case the wine cellars
yeah,
closed down.
So
Carry on.
So Alive is sort of just not just another zombie movie, but it's sort of a good guide to get people to more organize themselves
Yeah.
better.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Never surrender.
Like, I know that we had a hard time last year, but we should not just waste our money on just toilet paper, but to make sure we have plenty of food and other essential
What's the
items.
point? Yeah. You see, back in the olden days, probably 50s, 60s, not so much Australia, but in America, when they had this nuclear scare over there, the people were building bomb shelters underneath the houses and
I remember
backyards.
that.
And they were stocking up with non-perishables, tinned food, water,
Well, I
whatever.
don't remember that because I
No,
heard of
before
it.
your time. But a lot of people were doing it back in those days. Now, I'm not saying we should do it now, but if everyone's got a pantry, you would think, why don't I use my pantry properly and make sure I do have several weeks' supply of food in there or a month's supply of food. So if anything goes wrong, I've got some food. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I did like this movie. What did the reviewers say about this movie? I'd
Well-
like to know.
Excuse me. I went on to some different places. It's quite funny, The worst reviews came from Korea.
Really?
They weren't overly. They got average reviews, and I wouldn't say any troll type stuff, but most reviews are pretty average. But he says the other reviews, like the Rotten Tomatoes stuff, got up around 80% approval rating. Again, because something in this movie was attractive to people, not just the South Koreans, just people across the world, and people liked it.
Yeah, a
Interesting.
lot of people would often say this, but I often think that if a film that's made in a certain place, whether it's Korea or wherever, it's the own country would often be be ignorant about the film, but when it comes to the rest of the world, it becomes an international success.
It's different, yeah. And actually, this movie has become an international success. It really has. Now, listen, it's on Korean review aggregator Naver, a movie database, the film holds an approval rating of 7 from critic reviews. Now, I've read some of the reviews, they weren't real good. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds an approval rating of 88%. Now, that's not too bad. Now, Screen Rant, there's one there. Alive accurately captures the same panic, fear, uncertainty, loneliness, and isolation experienced by many during the pandemic's early days. So they're liking it to what happened last year. Um, and he thought it was pretty good. Somebody from Cinema Escapist suggested Alive as an entertaining zombie flick that seems tailor-made for the time of the coronavirus. So everyone's seeing the similarities in this movie.
I think that whenever you think of all the movies that came out, whether it's a zombie film or they often try to tailor it to suit the
Whatever, yeah.
what's been going on. Like there was even a movie that not too when during it there was a movie that related the COVID virus and stuff like
And here's
that.
one, the New York Times. I thought, here we go, it's going to be negative. It wasn't. They said, Alive is a nifty little thriller that proves you can always find signs of life in the most undead of genres.
Oh, I love it.
Undead, I love that. And here's something, awards and nominations. I only found one award for it, and that was for UNN, who won Best Actor Award, and that was
That's good.
that was Sign 21 Awards, whoever they are. In America, are they Sign 21? I can't remember. Whatever. So he got an award
Hooray.
for his acting. Oh, look, I don't like foreign movies with subtitles only because I have trouble reading the subtitles and following the.
I don't mind so much.
No, I've got bad eyes, you see. So, and when I focus on the words, I'm missing the action on the screen. I prefer a dubbed one if I can get it, but I mean, I'll watch them, but it's just harder for me.
I just think it's interesting. I like the fact that I like culture movies, and I like learning a new. Even though I can't really. Sometimes there's no subtitles, but other than that, I enjoy watching the actions on the screen, like what the character's going to do. And sometimes the words can be easily translated. Sometimes.
Yeah, but it's like I've got to try stop and read a word, try focus on the words, and I'm missing the screen.
Yeah, because sometimes there is a word that's not in a foreign language. Like there's some if you look at swear words, you'll find that
the F word is the same in many languages.
Yes, and a lot of other words like animals, maybe names, they do come, and certain words that just begin with the same three letters.
There's similarities. See, some people, don't know this, but a lot of the English-speaking words we use now actually originated in places like Europe and those other places, and we've adopted it, we've changed it a little bit, but it's still the same word basically, in some cases,
Yes.
Anyway, I don't know what to say about this one. It's a good basic movie.
Another thing about this movie, I had a hard time trying to get a copy of it because so there were during 2020 there was another movie called Alive that was a thriller one too.
Is that Alive or Alone?
Alive.
Alive, yeah.
See, there was a lot of movies out there that that were named Alive or
There's
Alone.
two Alives and two Alones, both came out in 2020 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find the right movie sometimes. You go, okay.
It made it a lot harder, even though this is more of a. This is not exactly a horror. It's more of a.
Well, it's a drama, thriller, horror in that order.
Yeah. Well, the other one that I'm referring to, it was also a thriller-related movie. But I can't really tell you very much about that one.
That Alive, which was that one? That was the
another live one dealing with a I don't know. I can't remember the plot for that one technically.
But the Alone movie that Matt Naylor did, that was pretty much the same movie as this that done in America or something. Yeah.
The other that movie that's we're referring that's called Alone is actually done by Donald Mac.
I didn't have a look at it.
What's his name? I can't. What's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Stick your tongue out. Nah, can't read it. Okay. Donald Duck?
No, it's a famous actor. He's been
Donald
around.
Sutherland?
Yeah, Donald Sutherland. He plays in that.
Oh
movie.
yeah, he's in that one there. Yeah. That's is that Alone though? Is it? That's Alone.
That's
It's
Alone.
Alone. That's the American version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, this version is a lot more interesting. I mean, I like that of film that takes place in a different location.
That movie, that Alone movie, which is the same script as this, didn't rate as good as this movie.
Didn't rate? Oh, that's extraordinary.
No, it did not. It went straight to direct to DVD, to streaming, whatever, that the DVD stuff. I think I've got a note or two here. Just give me a moment.
I'd love to hear this.
Here we go. An American film, Alone, was also released in 2020. This was written by Matt Naylor. I think that might have been the original idea, came from that, and then they did this movie off that. I'm not sure. It is the same storyline and script, but rewritten to suit this Korean production group. This film, the other one, Alone, was not released through theatres. It was released via video on demand in October last year, and on DVD, Blu-ray in October at the same time.
That would make it a little harder.
So people didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, and if you're anything like me, guys, which you are, may or may not be, you don't want to watch a movie that went directly to DVD.
However, I don't think in America too many movies were going to the theatres because the theatres weren't open.
I know that. I just mean
so
that...
So it might have gone to the theatres if the theatres were open.
But you know what I mean, Mike? I mean, I don't like watching movies that went directly to video because if you buy it, then you find out the story is rather a disappointment, then you wasted like your money.
Well, if you go to the pictures, if you go to the theatre and you go and buy a ticket and your popcorn and your ice cream and your lollies, or whatever,
and you don't know the plot, obviously.
Yeah, whatever. You get the same cost, but you stay at home. And then instead of buying all that confectionery stuff, you just nuke some popcorn in the microwave oven.
Yeah, I see. But you got to admit, Mike, going directly to video is risky because what if you buy it and then you get disappointed?
Well, once you go to the pictures, you walk out on it.
Good point. But you've got to admit, going to a movie or watching on television is usually the best way to get to know the actual product.
I know, but like last year, I don't think too many theatres were open in different countries.
Yeah.
Some of ours closed off in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, practically.
Some areas in America might have had them closed for longer. Because they were having high outbreak areas, so high contamination rates and stuff.
Yeah.
So no social gatherings. So where are you going to see it?
Good point.
So it may have hit the theatres and it might have got a better reception, but the critics didn't rate the other movie as highly as this one.
But then again, it's just like when we were talking about Volcano and the
Tommy Lee Jones,
and the other movie, what's it called?
Dante's
Peak. They're both both volcano movies, both
about the same time.
Both same time, and one got good results, while the other didn't get very good results.
What was the movie they collaborated on?
That would have been Terra Inferno.
Terra Inferno, there's two movies going to be made at the same time. So they said, "Oh, bugger it!" They joined forces and made a good movie.
That's a collaborated project.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so...
It should be done more often.
Yeah, so over the years, I think that this is what often happens. If a particular script is such a really successful one, certain film parties would often either collaborate or they both do their own version of that same script.
But if you do two, it's like doing two Dracula movies at the same time. Let us say, for argument's sake.
Okay.
Let's say, what's a big big one now? Let's say Lionsgate does a Dracula movie. Lionsgate's pretty well known nowadays, and some relatively unknown studio, independent, if you will, or something rather, does a similar movie. Which one's going to get the best notoriety? The one from Lionsgate, because they got a bigger promotional engine driving it.
Yeah.
It's got networks. It's got people who'll put their movies on. They'll stream it. They'll do whatever. The
one thing,
theaters,
and
whatever.
I think this movie we've often just talk about one location, not several locations.
Yeah, one location. Closed locations. We don't have them all over the place like a James Bond movie. Most of this actually happened in his apartment, to a lesser degree, her apartment. And the third apartment where when they joined forces on the 8th floor of their building. Yeah,
and when they were on the same street that.
On the street in the middle, that sort of stuff, and on the roof. So really, it was nice and contained.
It was very contained.
And sometimes it's a lot easier, cheap probably, to control it.
Yeah, some people might argue and say, "Oh, the same location, how boring."
Well,
But I'm not one of those people. I think it's an
look at the
awesome idea.
Titanic. It was on a boat. They couldn't get off and go I'll go for a little walk.
No.
One boat. People running around like inevitably creatures in circles. Hello. There's a dining room over there, and there's a bar there, and there's someone's. I'm sorry, they're stuck on a boat. I don't care how big it is.
Do you want to rate this movie now, or do you have anything else to add?
No, I haven't got too much to say because I haven't got enough information I can find on it because obviously,
sorry, guys.
It's limited. What I would like to say before I rate it is, I've got a lot of foreign movies. Yeah, like some of the dubbed, whatever, and I do have subtitled movies, and I think this one holds up quite well for a modern one. I don't like these types of movies as much as straight horrors, but a drama, thriller, I think it holds its own.
Yeah, I think it does, and it's not completely scary, and
it's more of a drama thriller with the horror aspect happening around them. How are they going to survive? What's going to happen next? Ooh, there's a knock on the door. There's a growly guy coming past. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
I certainly like the amount of technology, drones and computers, stuff like that.
It's a new take for me on this sort of thing. So I'm going to give it a 9. Look, I have to give it a 9.5, even though it's not my genre favour. But everything about the movie, I think, is highly acceptable.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5 for different reasons, because I do like the fact it takes place in a different country, and I like the fact that was well received on Netflix and by audience members.
And around the world.
And around the world.
So, it's done something. I mean, it's, again, not my favourite, but there's a lot of people out there who like this movie. And I'm going to be going by...
And I like the ending where instead of usual, unlike other zombie movies where they just, the lead characters you care about get killed off, in this one they get saved. And
you start wondering, are they going to go out for a meal, date, get married?
Well, in the last scene where they were heading towards a safe location where other survivors were at.
Yeah.
So they may get a nice place that won't.
Yeah. Well, I think they said somewhere the main problems are around the high density housing, like the units and apartments that people living in. Those areas had the worst outbreaks, of course, the concentration of human beings in the areas. So if they're going to an area which isn't quite as inhabited, there'd be less.
Yeah, it might be a countryside, maybe, or even a
quarantine station.
Like when we were having quarantine up here, the people who were most severe would have been put in a special quarantine compound.
Locked up for 2 weeks or so.
They were being placed in a compound of sorts.
Something like that. Anyway, irrespective.
Anyway, this is about it. I'm getting kind of bored now. So, thanks for watching this latest episode, guys. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying, see you guys for the next one. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.